When I look back on things, I feel like, well, he did provide me with the greatest gifts of my life.
Yeah.
I thank him for that. I don't regret having my children, of course. They're the greatest gifts God has given me, and he provided me with that too.
Yeah.
When I think back of not having my daughters, had I left him before, then I would be missing out right now.
What's up, Core Nation? Welcome to another episode of Coin for Thought. Today we have Helen Stailos here. She's the CEO of Soma Bath. She helps people design amazing, beautiful bathrooms that help them get connected with their bathroom space, right?
That's right, Nikki.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Helen has also gone through her own divorce as well, and she'll be talking about her experience and how Soma Bath really came to be. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Nikki.
Yeah. So tell me how you started this company. You went through your own divorce, and that was really crazy for you.
It was a crazy time for me because I had 2 little girls at the time.
Yeah.
And prior to me going out into the workforce, I was a stay-at-home mom for a little while, and no one would hire me at the time. So it was a bit of a challenging time, that's for sure. And I thought to myself, times were tough. Yes, I did go through a lot emotionally, but I had to push forward. I had a drafting table, I had a computer, and my education, and that's where I got started. So I started my first company, which was Helen Stailos Interior Design, and the project started to roll in. Everything was going okay. It was tough.
Yeah.
With 2 children in tow, running a business, trying to be a mom during the day, and then trying to work at nighttime when they slept. Showing up to job sites with 2 children.
They were really young too.
They were small. I did a framing inspection with a toddler on my hip.
Oh my gosh.
So that was difficult. But if I could afford babysitting at the time, or if I can get my sister to help watch the kids, there was a lot of juggling, a lot of like, when do you clean the house? When do you grocery shop? When do you spend time with your kids? When do you do your banking and your accounting and run the business?
Right.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
And then on top of it, when do you sleep?
Yes.
When do you get to sleep?
Well, how long were you really married? You know, tell me about how you met your ex-husband and how you decided that you were going to do this, and then how long it really lasted.
So I've actually known my ex-husband my entire life.
Yeah.
His mom and my dad are from the same region, actually from the same village back in Greece.
Yeah.
And he was my first everything. He was the first everything, and I got married to him, followed all of the rules of my parents, my old school parents.
Yeah.
And we were married for 13 years.
Yeah, because you came from a pretty conservative family, right? Very traditional Greek family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very conservative and very strict. Like, respect is a very big deal, and you don't embarrass your family. And one of those things that would embarrass my family is me going around and dating many different people at the time.
So he was like your first for everything.
First everything. First guy I held hands with, first kiss, first everything was my ex-husband.
Wow. So when did you notice things were kind of going south, or maybe you shouldn't be in this kind of marriage? When did you notice that?
I noticed his behaviors getting worse. As time progressed, he never really snapped out of his grief. Then he lost his mom, and now he's grieving for 2 people. The years went by. We had our first child 9 years into the marriage, and my happiness came to fruition when my daughter was born.
Yeah.
I wasn't really happy in the marriage. He wasn't happy. He had asked me for a divorce before, told me he didn't love me. I worked so hard to keep that marriage going.
Yeah.
And the harder I worked, I think I've explained this before. When they're not happy, it's like a vicious circle. He's not happy, so he gets a little mean.
Yeah.
I try harder to make him happy, and I'm back at this point again.
Yeah.
Where it's like he gets mean.
It's like
a vicious circle.
It's such a vicious circle.
Yeah. So he's getting mean, and I'm sacrificing more.
Yeah.
To make him happy, and then he realizes, oh, if I can get more mean, she'll sacrifice more.
Yeah.
And it goes around and around and around.
Yeah.
So when I got pregnant with my second child, I started to see his behaviors were getting worse, not better.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew the marriage was over. I thought about it during my entire pregnancy, and then for another 2 years. What am I going to do?
Did you feel like, because you had your first daughter so so long after you got married? Because usually, you know, people have kids kind of like, they start thinking about kids kind of like right away,
Yes.
or they wait a year or two. But then your first daughter, you had 9 years after you got married.
Yes.
So did you feel like it would have been easier at that time to kind of, you know, separate things and leave him at that time, you know? Is there anything you regret about when you look back on things?
When I look back on things, I feel like, well, he did provide me with the greatest gifts of my life.
Yeah.
I thank him for that. I don't regret having my children, of course. They're the greatest gifts God has given me, and he provided me with that too.
Yeah.
When I think back of not having my daughters, had I left him before, then I would be missing out right now.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a catch-22. Like,
Yeah.
Yes, it probably would have been good for him if we had separated before, but then I provided him with the greatest gifts of his life too. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to stay. Bad things happen, but I move forward, and we just thank each other for our children.
I think that it's hard because like he traveled a lot. So
Yes.
during that time, you were very much like a single mom, right? Because
Exactly.
he was away on business, he would come back, he would go away. And then you had to maintain a clean house, you know, drop the kids to school, you know, manage all their activities and the things that they needed. And do you find that it was very hard for you to do that? Did it come very naturally for you? You know, for me, I know I was very much a career person. So I felt like when I first became a mom, I was really, really stumbly. And I had to it took me a minute to kind of find my footing. Did you find that doing all these things on your own, did you find that you needed time to kind of get into it? You know, what was your take on that?
My take was, I'm pressed for time. I didn't have to like struggle to get into it. I just had to get the job done. Whether it was like keep the house clean, make sure these kids are healthy, they're entertained, they're getting out, we're socializing, I'm putting them in activities, swimming lessons, and even the outside of the house. Mow the lawn, you know, bring the kids outside, get the gardens done, get the shopping done. We're having people over for dinner, the logistics, set the dining room table, iron the linens, like the table linens. It was too much at the time, but when you know you got to get it done, you're focused.
Yeah.
You just charge forward and you get it done.
So after you guys divorced, you know, you guys had a prenup. So after you guys divorced, you didn't end up with very much, right?
No.
So your financial situation, you were in a really good financial situation, living in a beautiful home. And then all of a sudden now you bought this home that was like completely broken. Tell me about that.
So, yeah, it's exactly what you just described. I downsized, I downgraded, broke.
Yeah.
Right? 2 little girls full time.
Yeah.
And even my children said, when we first moved into this home, they said, "Mom, what are we doing here? This house is terrible." And it was terrible.
How'd that make you feel, you know? Like did you feel really guilty? Did you feel awful?
I felt guilty. I felt guilty for my daughters that I wasn't providing them with a home that they were used to. That's where the guilt was. For myself, I didn't care. You could live anywhere and just make the space more beautiful, maintain it. I wasn't embarrassed. I did feel some embarrassment if someone came by to see me.
Yeah. Well, that's natural,
Yeah,
right?
like, Helen, how did you go from this house to this? Like, how did you do that?
Especially if they know you before,
Yes.
right? So they see you with this beautiful house, you know, beautiful lawn, beautiful, you know, the size also.
Yes.
And then you move into, say, from a detached house to a townhouse.
That's right.
And a townhouse that is like broken and messed up.
Yeah.
So how did you find this townhouse?
Well, we found the price was great, and my ex-husband is a realtor.
Okay.
So he took me to go see 5 homes that one day, and we had to make a decision, or I had to make a decision. So it's actually a corner lot. It was a tiny, tiny little rundown townhouse on a bigger lot. And unfortunately, this townhouse that was 10 years old, it was owned by an investment company for the 10 years, and it was leased over and over and over again, never cared for. But the price was right, and I'm very, very handy. And I thought,
Yes, you are very handy.
yes, I come with my own tools. So I thought I can tackle this, right? I got this. So I got the house. And
Where did you learn how to be so handy?
as a young child, I don't know. I guess some
Were you
people
always this way?
always
Always.
machine tools, everything like power tools, no problem.
Did
Give me some
someone
wood.
teach you? Was your dad really handy? Was he like, "Oh, Helen, come here, let me show you this"? you know?
My dad doesn't even know how to hold a screwdriver, unfortunately. He's not handy at all. My brother and I ended up being very handy people. We could fix just about anything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and good with electronics, wiring, whatever. I don't know, it just came naturally to me, so.
So what was wrong with this house? Tell me about it. Tell me, describe it. You walk in and...
Oh my gosh, broken, cracked tiles on the floor, holes in the drywall. Where you stand. So unfortunately, the neighbors tell me that the family who lived there before were quite large.
Okay.
So where you stand the most in the bathtubs had dented dents in them, where the water just puddled there, and there was like a stain, like a water stain there. They didn't, I guess, keep it clean either.
Okay.
We also had, for privacy, instead of putting draperies up or blinds, they decided to paint like some sort of clear glue coating on the windows.
Oh my gosh.
It was the weirdest thing. I couldn't scrape them off. I couldn't do anything. I had to buy a lacquer remover, a strong chemical, and put it on. It stunk up the house with the fumes, but we put it on, and the girls just sat there and watched me. They're like, what is this stuff on the windows? It was just very strange.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, and you painted, you put in new wallpaper.
Yeah, actually my furnace unit wasn't working. The AC was broken.
Yeah.
We had so many issues in that house. They also had a large dog in there before, and I found weird, strange hardware on the wall with a skid as a gate. They used the skid as a gate to, I guess, to keep like a large dog out of the way, or so it was just like pulling hardware out of the walls and patching up holes, sanding.
I love how, you really started designing your own space, before you started doing this, before you started Soma. It all started, when you walked into the space. You started this new life, and then it just sort of progressed from there.
Yes.
Right? Because you had to do everything. And then you would get the girls to help you.
Yes, I would get the girls to help me.
Yeah.
And you put on their I have 2 daughters, so we put on the Disney princess music. Let's go pull the dandelions out of the lawn, and let's go do this together. And it was just an emotional time to have them involved with me, spend time with them, and create a better space with my children.
How did they feel as the space was really coming together?
Oh, they still say it to this day now that they're teenagers. Mom, this house is smaller than our last, but we actually like this house better. It's very cozy, they say.
Yeah, because I think that you've made the space a home versus maybe the house that you lived in was just a house, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a loving home. It's a very loving home now. It's bright, we're happy, And
there's always if you're going through something, you're going through a marriage where it isn't really working out, there's that air, that energy. So then, when that person leaves, you feel better, you can be freer, you can do things in the way that is more connected to you.
That's right.
And the kids kind of see that, right? So I think that that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and you want to be strong for your kids. You don't want them to see you upset.
Yeah.
I think in their eyes, I made it look easy for them. It was not easy by any means.
Yeah.
They think it was easy. Mom just fixed it. Mom repaired the holes in the wall. Mom bought groceries. Mom paid the bills. Mom, we just do everything. And they don't realize what it takes to get to that point. We just make it look easy and we keep it to ourselves. But involving them in the work, when they start to have a little bead of sweat that comes down, or like, oh, I need a popsicle right now. Like, I'm so hot and sweaty, they start to realize
that this is really hard.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And they don't forget. As they get older, now I'm starting to hear comments like, Mom, I know you did this for me. Thanks so much.
Oh, wow.
It's great. It's great to hear, like, okay, they remember.
So tell me about Soma. How did you start it? What was your vision? What did you want to do? Because I know you really wanted to really create these beautiful bathrooms for people. Bathrooms, especially for me, when I go into my bathroom, my best ideas have come in the shower.
Yes, of course.
And I know this sounds so crazy, but I'd be sitting on the toilet even. Yeah. I'm like, oh, wow, like I have this thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's the only space, at least for me, and maybe for many people too, where their mind just shuts down. And all that talk in your head just goes away. And you're able to really just be you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's really beautiful.
I think the bathroom affects everyone in so many different ways. We have people in different situations where, in your case, you have these light bulb moments. Like your greatest ideas come to you when you're in the bathroom, right? You're trying to decompress, you're trying to relax.
Yeah.
A lot of moms, okay, we all know this. We go to the bathroom to cry.
Yeah.
Right? Just to be alone and cry. Like, I'm so stressed out. Like, I just want to be in a really nice room by myself. I don't want kids banging on the door. I don't want anyone bothering me, asking me for something. So the bathroom has many uses. You go in there to cry, conduct your business, think of new ideas.
Yes.
Just feel better about yourself. So Soma Bath came to me when it was actually pre-pandemic. I had been doing interior design for a really long time.
Yeah.
So what I do is not just design, I actually produce the working drawings for the trades.
Okay.
So I'll produce an electrical plan, an HVAC plan, framing, millwork, whatever.
And that's really helpful because when a client is hiring people, they have these drawings to be able to show these people. So it's kind of like these people really understand, the contractors really understand where their head is at, because I don't think, like, you know, from a client perspective that they really describe things all that well, you know?
No.
Yeah.
And the bathroom entails, so it's unlike a living room, where a living room, you've got 4 walls. You might have some outlets, but all you have to do is really furnish it. Area rug, artwork, and drapery. The bathroom has so much more. Any room with power and water is going to be a little bit more complex, and I love the complexities. I love to come up with the new technologies that we have in plumbing, in even communications. Some people like to have like the news up in their bathroom, or you know, their iPods going in the bathroom.
Everybody's space is so different because they connect with their space in a different way.
Yeah. And we also have the technologies where the bathrooms are so big sometimes that we'll put a gym in there, like a treadmill or a stair climber or something. Yeah, and then you've got the steamer in the shower, right?
Yeah.
So there's new technologies where people just want to go on their treadmill in the bathroom with watching the TV that's in the bathroom, and then just jump in the shower because they're so busy. They want to work out in the morning and then get to work.
Wow.
They don't have time to drive to a gym or time to just to kind of go somewhere else to work out and then go back to their bathroom and wash up and shower. They just want the whole experience in one room. So Soma Bath came to me pre-pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and I thought, this is a great idea. I'm just going to set my niche into bathrooms. I became the bathroom guru of Oakville a few years ago, and I decided to run with it, and it's across Canada now. So it's an e-project-based company where you can be living anywhere. You'll contact me. You can send me your measurements and photos, and then I'll be sending you the complete design package.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I feel like because that bathroom is so connected, different people are going to want different things. So if someone's going through a really hard time, and bathrooms are one of the most expensive, kitchens, they're one of the most expensive to renovate, you know? What would you say? What are a couple of design tips you would give people if they're going through a transition, if they're, say, in a rental, or if they're, say, living in their home and it's chaotic because they're not connected with their partners, you know, and they're trying to find some calm and peace in all of that chaos? What would you say they do to their design space to make it more connected to them?
My first step is get that bathroom spotless.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than having an outdated bathroom that's got soap scum everywhere, because you can't really see, you have no inspiration after that. Get it spotless, get it clean. Take a look at it after it's clean. Look at your vanity. Can you paint the doors? Like paint the cabinet? Can you just hang a new mirror? Can you perhaps maybe like get a new vanity light, or just little ways that you can just upgrade your bathroom, make it much more comfortable and functional by just changing out one thing.
But like adding a mirror makes such a huge difference, because the builder has that big mirror that they stick on the wall.
Yeah.
And if you just get like a mirror, like even a beautiful mirror from IKEA or something like that, it makes such a huge difference to the space.
It does.
Yeah.
And if you look on places like Marketplace, a lot of people get rid of some really great
Yeah.
items that they don't want anymore. They may have just bought it and they made a mistake, or they're trying to get rid of this stuff. So websites such as Marketplace, Kijiji, they're great places to start to spend a fraction of what you would normally spend.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, look at your paint colors. Is it dark and dingy in there? Paint's not that expensive to buy.
Right. And you can do it yourself. It's a small space.
That's right. You can do it yourself. And if you're handy, even better. There are so many different things you can do, changing the knobs on your vanity will make a big difference. And just making the space brighter and cleaner looking makes a huge difference. And that's been done on a budget.
So tell me a little bit about lighting, because lighting has always been my thing. I always want to walk into a space that has bright, beautiful light,
Yes.
right? But bathrooms are a little bit different, right? Because you're doing a lot of things that you don't normally do in other spaces. Like you might be putting on your makeup there, right?
That's right.
You're getting ready there, you know?
Yeah.
So tell me about the lighting and how you incorporate lighting into the bathroom.
So lighting's a very big deal in the bathroom, huge deal. In every nook and cranny, I like to have lighting close to bottom to the floor, mid-range, and then up above. So let's talk about where you're at your vanity right now. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
You're looking in the mirror, you're tweezing your eyebrows, you're doing your makeup, you're picking the food out of your teeth. Men are shaving. We do so much in front of the mirror.
Yes.
And men will flex their muscles. Like we want good lighting, right? We want to look great.
Yes.
So what I like to do is always have, if you're doing the ceiling over, let's say you've got the money and you're redoing your lighting. You're ripping everything out. You want to put a pot light right in front of your face.
Okay.
On the ceiling, coming down in front of your face. It lights up the space between your face and the mirror will bounce the lighting back and forth.
Okay.
The other thing you'll want to do is either have pendants or sconces on either side, usually at about 5.5 feet, so you have lighting at mid-range.
I see.
Yes. And then if you have other features in the room, like a floating vanity, you'll want to put undermount lighting.
That I find that so beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Especially if you're going to spend money on beautiful tile, highlight it.
Yes. And even if the vanity, I've seen where they have the lighting and then they fold the towels underneath or something.
Yes. It looks great.
It looks fantastic.
So even in showers, if you've got a niche in the shower or like the little space, the little alcove in the vanity that you just mentioned,
right,
you can light those up too. Light up the little alcoves. Those are little design features that you can add in. And of course, it adds to the budget.
Yeah.
If you're on a tight budget, we'll talk about the things that we mentioned before. But now if you've got the budget to really go and do things properly, do it properly, because you're not going to get this opportunity again. Once it's all ripped out and you're installing everything, you'll want to do everything at that point in time because it's more expensive to redo it after.
Right. So let's talk about bathroom storage, because bathrooms are, I feel like, at least for my space, I try to be very organized and, compartmentalize all of my things.
Yes.
But I find my bathroom to always be cluttered. So you have your medication, you have your makeup sometimes, you have miscellaneous and cleaning products.
Yes.
You have all these things in your bathroom. And oftentimes you have one big cupboard or a couple of cupboards that are so high and not really, it's just one big open space that you have to then organize all of your things. So how would you recommend really organizing stuff in your bathroom or arranging for organization?
So smart vanities are one way. You have to really look at what you have and what you can edit, if anything. If you don't want to edit anything, that's totally fine. So a vanity with more drawers, let's say.
Yes.
One drawer for toothbrushes and toothpaste, the other one for your makeup or hairbrushes or what you have. And then if you've got the cabinets, like the doors,
yes,
you'll want to put like shelves inside. What I like to do, and I'm doing this in a couple of bathrooms right now, is I'm using wall hung toilets. So you'll have a wall carrier inside the wall, but then there's a ledge. So what do you do with that space above the ledge? Well, we're building cabinets there. So you can stock all your toilet paper rolls, any extra little miscellaneous things like cans of hairspray you bought on sale. You just want to put them away. You don't want them in your vanity.
Right.
And the niches in the showers. Well, shampoo bottles are getting bigger and bulkier. Like you want to have a larger niche in the shower where you can just line up those extra bottles you buy from Costco. I don't know. But storage is a big deal. And I like to use even the spaces between studs in the walls. You can just insert a whole cabinet right in there for a 6-inch depth.
You can even hide, safes in your bathroom.
You can.
Yeah, you can.
You can totally do that. There's a lot of things you can hide in the bathroom.
Yeah. I wanted to kind of point that out because I find that when a space is not just clean, but it's organized, you come to your bathroom, there isn't clutter all over the place.
That's right.
Everything is in its spot. It's calming. It's a calming space to be able to come to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I like to do, and I do it in most bathrooms actually, and this is one thing that everyone should listen to, medicine cabinets recessed into the wall.
Yes. Oh
we
my
need
gosh.
those.
Yes. Yes.
We need those. With a mirror, magnifying mirror on the inside. Those are the best.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the controversy of having a bathtub.
Okay, there's a lot of controversy on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you pro or are you against bathtubs? Because they take up such a huge space.
Yes, they do.
And I always find that people want it, but at the same time, you know, no one really uses it. So then it takes up a giant space of, you know, something that you're maybe not using or you're using, say, not very frequently.
Yes.
For me, I try to have a bath once a month.
Good.
You know, I try, but it's a huge space in my bathroom that's allotted like 365 days of the year.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about bathtubs? If someone is renovating their bathroom and if they're not really bath people, they don't really care to light candles, they don't really care for the bubbles. Okay.
Yeah.
So would you say that they should take it out?
So there is a lot of controversy, as you mentioned earlier. This all depends. I remain neutral on the bathtub situation for many reasons. I do.
Okay.
So from a real estate perspective, we have to have one bathroom in the house for a resale value. Let's just say no one's in their house forever. You could be there for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. You should have one bathtub on the upper floor of the house if it's a 2-story home. If it's a bungalow, you're going to have that bathtub. You have to think that one day there will be a family living there. One day you're going to put the house up for sale and it could make or break the deal. Let's say a young family wants to buy the house and there's no bathtub. Where do you bathe your kids?
Yes.
You have to have a bathtub for that reason. You may want to have the bathtub, let's say, for an elderly person.
Right.
You may have to have the bathtub just because it needs to fill up a large space. Some bathrooms are so big that you have to put it in there, and even though you know it'll never get used. It's just going to collect dust.
Okay.
So with a 2-story home, let's say, there will be only one bathtub, and it's mainly in the main bathroom, not in the master ensuite. If the master ensuite's too big, we'll put one in.
Okay.
If not, we just leave it in the main bathroom for the kids.
Yeah, because sometimes it's such a clutter to clean.
Yes.
It's a huge thing to keep clean. And then I often find that if people don't use your bathtubs, it's a dumping ground.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they just like dump, like, say, laundry in there.
Yes.
Or different things in there. And it's just like a giant space where it's a hole.
It's a hole it becomes a hamper.
Yeah.
It becomes the hamper for all the dirty towels. That's what happens with the bathtub.
Yes.
It never really gets used. I had one gentleman say to me with a massive bathroom, he's like, I'm not putting a tub in here. I don't want it. I go, you live alone in a massive home. You're not going to be here. You know, in 2 years, you're going to be gone. He said to me, I'm renovating. I'm preparing to sell the house.
Right.
You have to assume it's a 5-bedroom house. You have to assume that a family is going to be moving in here.
Yes.
So you can't design it for you. You have to design for the masses. So from a real estate perspective, the bathtub will come into play, at least one in the house.
Okay.
And I will only do one in the house. I don't believe in doing multiple bathtubs. I don't like it.
Especially like if it's a nice soaker tub.
Yes.
It's awesome. But having those like shallow, the builder style tubs where it's super shallow, I find that so useless.
It's shallow. It's in a tub enclosure with 3 walls.
Right.
It's skirted. It's not the most attractive. And you've got like the shower and tub combination shower kit, like all on the one wall.
Yeah. But it's great for old people and kids.
It is great for old people and kids. Yeah. It's very convenient and easy to clean.
Yeah.
So now we get into the freestanding tubs, which I always do.
Oh, yes.
They're stunning. The tub fillers that come out of the floor are incredible. You can do them out of the wall too, but to have this beautiful like tub filler mounted on the floor that's so tall with the handheld, it looks gorgeous. It's probably the most expensive fixture in the bathroom too, and you'll never use it. You might use the handheld just to dust out the bathtub sometimes. But if people are more like you and will make it a point to use the tub once a month, I think that's the greatest gift you can give yourself.
I found that, after I had kids and, with things being so busy, I wasn't able to really find that calm. And a lot of times when I had the twins, I had to take them in the bathroom, or I would be in the bathroom and then they would just kind of come in, or they would be banging on the door. And, sometimes, even with you, I remember you telling me you were having a meeting and 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 your kids were banging on the door. They wanted their mom.
Yeah.
And so I think that, when I started taking baths, I became a new person after my bath. I was happier. I was more collected. I was more patient. And yeah.
You had your me time. That's why.
Yeah.
That tub was yours for a very short amount of time. It was yours and no one barged in on you. Like no one bothered you. That's why.
And there's so many things that you share. You know, you may share a bed with somebody.
Yes.
You know, you share rooms with other people. That bathroom space is just for you.
That's right.
You know? Yeah. So now I have this rule where, you know, my kids are not allowed in my bathroom.
That's great. That's a good rule. I think
really
privacy is a very big thing. And
Yes.
I think the bathroom is the one place everyone should go to be alone and have their privacy.
Yes, I agree. So another thing, you know, we just bought a new house.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. One of the big sellers for the house was that it had a separate toilet room in the master.
I'm so happy for you.
And I was like, this is going to do wonders for my marriage. Okay, because my husband likes to sit on the toilet for a really long time. Mm-hmm. And he'll take his iPad in there, he'll take his laptop, he'll take his phone. And I'm like, come on, let's go. Like, I got to get ready. I got to get in there. I got to brush my teeth.
Yes.
And oftentimes I don't have access to the bathroom because, you know, he's in the bathroom doing his business. So I find that, you know, if you're gutting your space, I'm very pro toilet rooms.
Oh, I love toilet rooms.
Yes.
They save marriages. I swear they save marriages because it's exactly what you just described. Us girls, we like to get in, do our thing, and get out. Though we do take the longest in the bathroom because we're doing our hair, we're doing our makeup. Men take long because they're just relaxing.
Yeah, they're slow.
They're very slow.
Yeah.
And I remember this one time, I'm not kidding you, when I was married, my ex-husband, who was a business owner at the time, I found all his daily reports, all the paperwork, binders, calculator, everything in the bathroom. I went in to go clean it and I took all this stuff and I go, what is this stuff doing here? And he said to me, what are you doing? Go put it back. He goes, I have lots of paperwork to do. He said he had lots of paperwork to do in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's just not, a separate toilet room is a really great little room to have in the bathroom so you can do your thing, your husband can do his thing.
Yes.
You don't want to see that. He doesn't want you to see what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's just, if you've got the space for it.
I feel awkward. I know a lot of couples now, like they walk into a bathroom space and someone's pooping on the toilet while the other person is brushing their teeth.
Yeah.
And I do not like that. You know, I'm like, you do your thing, I do my thing. I don't want you like hovering around while I'm taking a poop.
No.
No.
Hell no. Just put the fan on in the toilet room and like do your business, shut the door.
Yes, I totally agree. So let's talk about the water, okay?
Yes.
Water is, you know, there's so many different kinds of showers. And it's not just even the showers, the faucets, right? So there's different kinds of flows that give different sort of vibes. There's jets, you know, people have bathrooms with all these side jets. I personally hate those jets. Mm-hmm. So I've gone to hotels and stuff. I've never had that in my own bathroom, but I've gone to hotels where they've had jets on the side and with so many knobs. So you can't really tell what knob is going to turn on what, and you just turn the knob on and the jet just comes at you from the side.
You in the eye.
Like a hose.
Yeah.
And it is, you know, oftentimes when you just turn it on, it's not the right temperature.
Yes.
And so, you know, tell me about that. Tell me about how you would design water in a bathroom space.
So I like to keep the controls very simple, but I'm a little bit pickier with how I control my shower set. So most people will want a thermostatic control. It's very simple. You just turn the water on and it's the same temperature all the time at the same pressure. Being a woman and I shave my legs in the shower, I don't want the pressure on full blast when I'm shaving my legs. I like to have control over the pressure and I like to have control over the thermostat controls. I like to have thermal change and pressure change. So that's a little bit more. You'll end up with maybe 3 controls. If you add a handheld, you'll have a diverter as well. If you want to add a toe tester, you'll have a diverter for that too. So what I like to do with my showers personally, it might be a little too much, but I like to test with my foot. I like to test the temperature first. Before I turn the shower to the shower head on, before it hits my body, I don't want to get shockingly frozen. Like I don't want to be shocked by the cold. So I like to test it before with my foot before I divert the water to the shower head. So Flow will vary. Depending on your shower head and the brand you buy, flow will vary.
Okay.
So a good flow amount would be like 2.6 gallons per minute. Some handhelds will only give you 1.7, 1.75 to 1.8 at best.
It's crazy that we're using so much water.
Yes.
Because if you take like a half an hour shower, oh my gosh.
And there's a trick for that.
Okay.
And because I have teenagers, I do this, but I don't recommend this for families with small children.
Okay.
Your water tank, set it to the hottest setting. You set it to the hottest setting, and then that way you mix more cold water with that hot, because it's scalding hot. It's very dangerously hot. So you save more water by setting it to a very hot setting. The only thing is that you spend money on heating the tank continuously.
Right.
So it's a catch-22. But water is such a luxury. Living in Ontario, like we have the most amount of fresh water from our Great Lakes, more than anywhere else in the world. And our water comes from Lake Ontario. If you're living in Ontario, it comes from Lake Ontario.
Yes.
It does get filtered. The water does go through a processing system, goes back to the lake. However, when we take it for granted how much water we're using in the bathroom, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So I try to conserve as much as I can.
Oh, you didn't grow up with such free-flowing water.
I did here in Canada, but back in Greece, we didn't have running water. We didn't have electricity. We didn't have plumbing. We didn't have anything. We lived like the pioneers.
Yeah, so you had the bucket that you had to then go fill at, what was it, like a stream or something?
We had like a fresh spring in the side of the mountain in the rock.
Gosh.
But it was the coldest water, the clearest water, the best tasting water I've ever had.
Yes.
So what we would do back in the day, when I would go to Greece, we'd saddle up the donkey. My grandfather would put me on top, take me for a ride. We'd put the jugs on the side of the saddle, and we fill those jugs with the fresh water.
Right.
We take it back up to the house, and my grandmother would boil it enough to a temperature so that we could bathe with it.
Okay. And then you would take your bucket, and then you would...
With a ladle.
Yeah.
With a ladle or a small little saucepan, and we would just pour it over our heads, and that's how we washed back in the day.
See, I'm from India, so we grew up in well, now it's called Mumbai, but in Bombay. But I'm from this place called Goa, and whenever we went to my grandmother's house, it was an outhouse.
Yes.
So we had well water. So we had to take the water from the well and put it in the bucket, and bath time was always more nurturing. You had to really spend a lot of time and energy washing yourself. So even though, you didn't have free-flowing water, you could walk away from a bath feeling so refreshed.
Yes.
Because the water was just different, and the way that you bathed yourself was also very different.
It was the effort you put into getting that water, to heating it up. And the other thing is, because we had an outhouse as well, you're out in the fresh air. You're out in the open, the field, you're surrounded by field. It's a different experience altogether than being in a brand new built shower with the most luxurious tile. Everything's polished and clean. So convenient. You jump in, it's so fast, you jump right back out. You almost don't appreciate it as much as when you're bathing out. It was poverty for my family back in the village. Not now, obviously, but back then it was very different. And it was actually kind of fun. Like, you're surrounded by these beautiful scenery, the mountains, the fields.
And you hear the trees.
Yeah.
You
might hear a goat in the background, or you hear the chickens clucking. Like, it was just almost an amazing experience to shower that way. And you come out feeling so clean and refreshed.
Yes. And you have to put on your slippers or whatever, and you walk back to the main house.
Yeah. And the towels were amazing because they were washed in like the most purest soap.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about towels. Because towels can get so incredibly expensive.
Yes.
And everybody wants their towels, for the most part, to be fluffy and soft, and they want them to stay soft. But towels get so crusty over time.
They do.
Yeah. So, and especially for people that like white towels, they always say bleach the towels. But once you bleach a towel, it's not really the same.
No, the texture changes.
Yeah.
So being in Ontario as well, we do have a lot of fluoride and calcium in the water that we use to wash our towels in. So if you want to buy towels, the best place to start is like going to a place like HomeSense.
Yes.
Check the tag. Or if they're made in, I love Portugal towels. I love towels made in Portugal, made in Turkey, Egypt. You can get mercerized cotton towels.
What's mercerized cotton?
It's
What is
almost
that?
like they're chemically washed after they've been produced
Okay.
to break down the fiber even more. They do feel softer.
Okay.
The problem is that once you wash them in your own washing machine with your Tide or whatever laundry detergent you're using, they don't feel the same.
Why?
Well, our water's so hard. So if you've got a water softener at the house, your towels will feel much better. You can treat your water.
Okay.
So water softeners help a lot. You have to keep adding the salt, as you know, but it does soften the water. Your laundry will feel better. Bleach does break down the towels over time. Chemicals will make them thinner.
And they stain them. Like the white is not, sometimes it turns yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's probably a synthetic fiber mixed in. They're not all cotton. That's what happens with bleach and synthetic fibers. If you're using an all-natural fiber, they will come out whiter. But if you're using anything with a poly mix, they will come out a little bit yellowed.
Okay. So tell me about your favorite towel brand. Would you like to call out a brand that's just your go-to?
Firenze, I would say. The Italian towels are amazing. I love them. You'll find them in hotels sometimes.
Okay.
But some of them are knockoffs. So you just have to be careful.
Okay.
You know a good towel when you feel it. You go by touch, texture, and feel.
It's nice too, especially if you're walking through a department store or something, like just touching the towels. All of them have just such different feels.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And a lot of designers will put their brand names on towels. Like I've got a few from Alfred Sung. They're okay. I use them as my hand towels in the powder room. I'm not 100% happy with them just because they didn't stand up the test of time like a natural fiber towel would.
Because they're produced in mass, their focus is on really the brand, not the actual towel itself, maybe.
Exactly.
You know, it's just another variation to what their brand is doing. So maybe the quality isn't really there. They're just trying to push out like a new product. So being able to kind of go to like a brand that specializes in towels and linens and all of that would be much better than say going with like, say, a popular designer brand that does sort of different things.
That's right. And a lot of designers are branding their product. They're trying to just gain popularity, and they're taking anything that's just made, so cheaply just to put their name on it. So you really have to go back to the roots. Like, let's look at who makes great towels. The Italians make great cars, food, and bath towels. They make a few other really good things, but I have to say their towels are great.
Yeah, because a towel's so nice. After you finish off your shower, you come out or you have a bath, the towel just finishes off that experience.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I find that goes hand in hand with the whole water situation we just talked about. When you were showering back in India, there was no you didn't have hard water. No. You didn't have chemicals in that water.
Yeah.
You did feel cleaner.
Yes. You had, obviously, it was well water. So you had like natural particles in it, but it was clean water.
Now think back to that time when you showered with that clean water and then had such a wonderful towel to pat yourself dry with. That's like the total spa experience for me.
It is. And I find that people go away to places like that to have, that spring water bath or whatever the case is, because, that natural bath or that natural shower is what we're trying to imitate in these fancy bathrooms. Do you find?
Yes.
Yes.
We're adding more organics now into the bathrooms as well, especially bathrooms with steam showers. So if we've got the space, we might put in a living wall, like plants that just love the humidity. And
I love that.
I love it too. I'm actually going to be doing one very shortly in a larger bathroom. Shower bases, instead of installing tiles on the floor, we're starting to add cedar planks. So it's a way of bringing the outdoors in. You want to get the wood in there, a living wall, just trying to bring organic materials into the bathroom that water will support as well.
Okay, so how are these materials different? Because they're different to clean, right? So, cleaning a cedar plank is not the same as cleaning like regular tile.
No, it's not. It's a very tedious job. I don't recommend it. If we're living in an area where life is very busy, our demographic is you're a working mom, I'm a working mom. I don't have time to get between all the slats when I'm scrubbing my bathroom, so I'm not going to have that.
Yeah,
I won't. And I don't like using harsh chemicals just to spray on, let it sit, and then rinse. I'm not for that either. Plus it damages the wood.
Right.
So I'm not going to use that. But someone who's got time to clean that, Or someone who's not even going to use it may have that in the bathroom. They're going to use it once in a blue moon.
Something that I love about bathrooms, especially because you have to clean them so often, and a lot of times they're shared with people. So you have your husband, you have your kids going there, you have your whoever's coming to your bathroom, right? So it depends on the traffic of your bathroom, but the finishes that I like to use in my bathroom are ones that are able to be cleaned as easily as possible.
Yes.
Yes.
You want to keep things simple, things that you can wipe clean and not have to use like specialized cleaners for everything. You just want it to be very simple and sterile at the same time. You want it to be clean.
So what's your favorite bathroom cleaner? Vinegar, water?
Vinegar, water, baking soda, I'll use quite often. And then for a good deep clean, I like to use Ajax or Comet with bleach. It gets everything really shiny. Your sinks, your chrome, your toilets, everything gets really shiny with that.
So I know that, seeing an interior designer, people automatically assume they can't afford it, right? They automatically assume that, this is a very luxury thing. And to a certain extent, it kind of is. But I want you to tell me a little bit about the process. If somebody's interested or, design doesn't just come so easily to people. People don't really understand like what's, underneath or behind cabinets and how water really flows. And they don't have that understanding because they don't have that education. So, what's the process if someone were to come to you? What is your process on seeing a new client?
So what I would normally do is come for the consultation meeting first. When a lot happens in that first meeting, I'd be listening to the homeowners, the husband and the wife, or if it's just one person. I want to understand their vision, what they like, what they don't like, how often they're going to use the space, what's their lifestyle like. Are they going to clean this or do they have help that's cleaning it?
Right.
From there, on that same visit, I'll take a check measure of the entire space. I will check all the electrical. I will check the water flow, if it's coming out of the walls or if it's coming out of the floor. I will check which walls are interior, which walls are exterior.
How do you know if it's coming out of the walls or the floor? What do you do?
I just open the cabinet doors and I look.
Okay.
So, and I want to see if it's an exterior wall. Can I move them to the wall or can I have to keep them in the floor? So some people don't realize that the lines cannot come from an exterior wall.
Okay.
So what you'll see sometimes in smaller bathrooms, you'll see that the wall is strapped out to put the shower kit in. People say, well, why does my wall come in so much? Well, look, is that an exterior wall it's on? So you'll have an exterior wall and then it'll be insulated and then the wall will get studded again. It'll bump out just to house the shower kit.
Wow.
So you really can't do much about that. If you've got plumbing on an exterior wall for, let's say, a vanity, but we never really put a vanity on an exterior wall, but it happens from time to time.
Yeah.
The lines will come from the floor. We can't put them in the wall because they will freeze. We have harsh winters.
So once you have finished off, you've done the assessment, what comes next?
So what I do right away is draft up the floor plan and the spacing. Once I do that, I know what product I need and where I'm going to find it and what colors I'm using. So then I start to do the resourcing. I'll venture out and start collecting all the samples. I'll look at all the specs on everything and the pricing. So once I compiled everything, you'll get a design plan. You'll get a working drawings package for all the trades, and then you'll get the specs and the budget.
Now, as the interior designer guru of Oakville, you have seen your fair share of gross bathrooms.
Oh, yeah.
In Oakville and Toronto, everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Okay, what's the grossest you've ever seen?
Oh, I feel so bad saying this. Someone who never kept their bathroom clean and mold took over everything and ate away at everything. Ate away the silicone, ate away at everything where they started to leak beneath the floor. And things started to smell and rot. So that's why I say cleanliness is always so important. Even if it's outdated and old, just keep it clean and shiny. You will feel better. It'll just look nicer.
Okay. Do you recommend putting tiles on the walls?
Yes.
Yes.
I do. I like tile on the wall.
Yeah, versus like a painted wall.
Yeah, versus drywall. It's cleaner. The only thing is everything echoes. You make one little sound and everyone will hear, okay?
What's a good budget for somebody to have for, say, a normal bathroom? Not a master bathroom. Say if they're just doing a normal bathroom, what's a good budget for them to have?
So gutted down to the studs in the subfloor, you're looking at least $20,000.
Okay. Okay, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. But you got to think there's a lot going into this. So we're considering the demolition, we're considering the disposal. So you have a bin in the driveway. Once that gets cleaned up, we're paying trades to clean up the site. Then we start roughing in the new plumbing. And then the electrician comes in and he starts roughing in all the new electrical. And then that's when we start again with, we've got the framing going on prior to those two trades coming in. We've got the tile setter. We've got, drywall being done, mudding, taping. There are many people involved in putting a bathroom together.
Yeah,
at least 10 to 12 people. And then you've got all the suppliers as well. You're constantly on the phone. You're constantly on your computer arranging deliveries. Something got back ordered. It's a constant go, go, go motion. Like you cannot stop.
Okay, what's an average for a master bathroom?
25 to 30 for an average.
Okay.
And it takes about, I would say, 3 weeks to build.
Yes, because the time is huge.
Yes.
Because you don't have access to that bathroom.
No.
And a lot of times, especially, with bungalows don't have that many bathrooms, right? So they may have, sometimes I've even seen bungalows have one.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So having a bathroom out of commission is tough.
You have to move out at that point. You're going to have to move out temporarily.
Yes.
But what you can do is just keep one functioning toilet. Towards the end of the project, you can just change it out. There are different ways of working this out where the couple can still live in the house and have one functioning bathroom. We have to arrange with it. It's very tedious. It's very highly orchestrated, but we can do it. It's doable.
That's awesome. Okay, so then what comes after? The project has started. What
Yes.
do you do at that point?
So now I start placing all the orders and arranging all deliveries to be on site prior to the trades showing up. The trades cannot show up unless all their product is there. Everything's ready for them. They can see what they're installing. If they show up and nothing's there, I've just wasted their time.
Okay. So after you guide the clients through the whole experience, so they don't really need to do anything.
No, so I'll be project managing every day at the site.
Okay. And then once the project is done, you organize this big reveal.
I do. So I go get the towels, the soap dispensers, fill them up with soap that matches the rest of the bathroom. I'll put in diffusers, things like that, little touches that I know they'll like. If they like to have music in the bathroom, I'll set up something like I'll have arranged for speakers prior to being installed in the wall.
And you can have that built into the bathroom.
You can. There's some great speakers from Canadian Sound that it's just drywall. You wouldn't even know that they're there.
Wow.
And the sound comes out perfectly from the drywall.
That's amazing if you're taking a shower and then you have a speaker and you can have like your favorite music playing or something like that. I know for me, I have like this tiny sticky thing that I stick on my tile.
Yeah.
And then I project it with my Wi-Fi, but it would be so nice to have, a full experience with built-in speakers.
We could listen to Coin for Thought in the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast.
Yes. So after everything's done, you have this big reveal, and that must be so nice for you.
It's great. All they have to do is move in their personal belongings, but everything is ready for use. It's clean, polished, disinfected. It's ready for them to go and use. Toilet paper's there, toilet paper stocked up in the cabinet.
Yeah.
It's ready for use. Other than your own personal products, then, it's just, you can go in and use the toilet right away. I want this to be an easy process for the clients, and I want them to be pleasantly surprised when they walk into their new space. And I try to schedule these while they're on vacation, so they come back to a new space.
Yeah, so it's not taking up their time. They're not having to struggle with it. It lets you and all the people working there work in peace.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're very cautious and careful and very respectful of people's homes.
Yeah.
They're entrusting us, and we really want to make sure we do a good job and leave a lasting positive impression on them. Like, we want them to love it. It's a lot of money. For a lot of people, these bathrooms are like their hard-earned dollars that they've been saving for such a long time for this.
And you don't go a day without going to your bathroom.
No. I always say it's the first place you visit first thing in the morning, and it's the last place you go to when you go to sleep at night.
Thank you so much, Helen, for joining me on the show. It was such a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for sharing your story too.
Thank you as well, Nikki. It was fun.
Yeah, if you'd like to work with Helen, check out the description below. You can find out how to reach her and contact her and work with her. She's absolutely amazing to work with. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos to come. See you all soon. Bye.